Do you accept candidates? So one line that jumped out at me from Professor Basu's remarks, this should not be happening. To me, that's like the clarion call of what the data says to him, and sounds kind of an alarm about where we are and should inform arguably where we should be headed. This should not be happening. Do you, candidates, accept the basic premise behind Dr. Basu's comments and his research? Bill Frick.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm here. That's why I'm running. Friends, this should outrage you. This should make you angry. Instead of handing out bagels and muffins, they should have been handing out pitchforks and torches. We have a problem here, and we've had a problem, and Anirban showed it. It's been going on for 10 years. This isn't just a report of economic indicators. It's an indictment. It's an indictment of the last 10 years. It's an indictment of the folks up here that have been part of this, that has allowed this to happen. How can a county with our talents, with our people, with our well-educated people, with our institutions, how can a county like this be in what Anirban calls a downward spiral? We should be leading not just the state, we should be leading the nation in economic development. But we're not. Why? Because of a political culture. A political culture coming out of Rockville that, as Anirban says, doesn't respect the contributions of the business community. Too often treats you as the bad guys responsible for poverty instead of being responsible for the jobs that will draw you out of poverty. We have got to change that culture, and friends, there's one person on the stage that can do it. It's me. I am the one person on this stage that comes with best of both worlds, someone that can come from outside the council, someone from outside local government and be the reformer we need. And yet at the same time, someone with experience, 10 years of political experience where I rose from a backbencher to the majority leader, because you don't want this to be someone's first rodeo. We've got to make the change, and friends, I'm the one on the stage who can make it.
Thank you. Roger Berliner.
Good morning to you. Can you hear me? Because somebody suggested my mic wasn't working, and now I hear it. It's working? We're good. So one of the headlines was "Stormy with a chance."
Now it's not.
Now the mic.
Now it's on.
It's stormy out here. All right, well, that's good. We'll try it this way. How are we doing?
And let's, can we start the clock over?
Start again. So stormy with the chance of leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, don't. You do have. Let me come over.
Sure.
Can we start again? I might keep doing this all day. So stormy with the chance of leadership. Don't take the chance, ladies and gentlemen. Don't roll the dice. I've done this work for 12 years, and I come before you as someone who has a better record on economic development than anybody in this race. Records matter. Why would you roll the dice here when you have an opportunity to elect somebody that has worked with you to create a better economic climate? I do accept the fundamental premise here that we have relied on the federal government far too long. If you go out front, you will see creating greater share economic prosperity was the first policy paper I issued over 6 weeks ago. Let me read it to you. If I have the privilege of serving as your next county executive, my top priorities will be improving our economic competitiveness, creating more jobs, and bringing about greater shared prosperity. My record on creating more favorable economic climate has led Montgomery County Business Hall of Famers, past presidents of local chambers of commerce, entrepreneurs of the year, minority business leaders, and green business leaders to endorse me for a reason. I have done this work, and we have more work to do, no question about it. It isn't quite as bleak as was suggested. I do want you to know in the last 7 years, we have outperformed Fairfax. We have outperformed Fairfax on gross regional product. We have outperformed Fairfax on private sector job growth. We have outperformed Fairfax on private sector wage growth. We have outperformed Fairfax on resident employment growth. And our office vacancy rate is 13%, and Fairfax County's is 16.8%. So the glass is half full, half empty.
We are Channel 21 alums, but that cuts you no slack, Mr. Berliner. David Blair.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. It's great to see so many people. It's inspiring to know that so many people are committed to changing the business climate here in Montgomery County. Having seen that presentation, I'm outraged, right? That's horrible. And that gets right to the core of why I'm running. I'm not satisfied. We can do so much better. So much better. I was the CEO of a publicly traded company. If I had delivered results like that, I would have been fired. Or I guess in this case, term limited out. And I certainly wouldn't be seeking a promotion. This is not new news. This has been going on for 10 years. The Department of Labor puts this out every 3 months. The fire alarm has been going off, and our county officials have put earplugs in. I started a small company, grew to a Fortune 500 company in Montgomery County. I have deep insights into the challenges and the opportunities here to do business in Montgomery County. And I've got a vision and a plan to stop this pattern and jumpstart the economy. And that's why several months ago I put forth an economic plan. And it incorporated conversations with hundreds of business owners, as well as best practices from around the country. It incorporates things like a strong buy local program, reworking our procurement system, supporting our minority and small business. It has a comprehensive outreach program. It cuts through the red tape, creates a culture of yes, and it establishes business incubators so we can have the high-tech, high-wage jobs right here in Montgomery County.
Mark Elrich.
Good morning. That was an interesting presentation, but it leaves, I think, a lot of questions unanswered. If you compare Montgomery County to Fairfax County sits with the 3% gross receipts tax on every commercial business. They have major development district taxes every place where they're doing economic development. And Fairfax County's raised taxes for people higher and faster than we have. The District of Columbia, my friend Adam Panuca is out here, he did a comparison that raised a lot of alarm bells and put Montgomery County at the bottom. The interesting thing was the District of Columbia was ahead of Montgomery County and ahead of every other major jurisdiction. The District of Columbia has a higher minimum wage, more social programs, very restrictive zoning, is in every sense of the word you would think worse than we are for business. Higher rents, more regulation. And yet the district outperforms all of us. And so what's missing for me in any of these equations is actually a deep dive look at what we need to do. I see the word too much regulation put up there, and we hear this all the time. People have to start talking about what regulations specifically get in the way of doing things. You have 10 million square feet of empty commercial space in this county. The government plays almost no role in the reoccupation of those empty spaces. It's way different than development. These are spaces that a person could move into tomorrow if people were ready to do entrepreneurial work. So my question is, what do we need to do at the local level to stimulate local businesses? How do we drive the economy? And I'm more than willing to do that.
Mr. Leventhal.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very glad to see everybody. Is my mic working?
Yes.
I'm glad you're here. I appreciate Dr. Basu's report. I especially appreciate his sense of humor. It's important to keep your sense of humor in the midst of a lot of stress. We are pulled in a lot of different directions. What comes to mind is the poem, "As I was walking by the stair, I met a man who wasn't there." Ike Leggett is an extraordinarily popular politician. If he were on the ballot in this Democratic primary, he would be reelected. We have had steady and excellent leadership, and we are drifting in terms of job growth. Now, Bill Frick's hair is on fire. He thinks you should toss the county council out. He never mentions Mr. Leggett. Mr. Blair says that our economic performance is horrible, but he wants to continue Ike Leggett's legacy. The truth is, political leadership is only part of the equation. Democracy is not a spectator sport. If the business community wants to be heard, you have to speak to us. If you want to participate in growing the economy, you need to join the MCEDC. You need to recruit your colleagues. You need to reach out to other growth sectors and the core strengths of our economy and help us I appreciate the presentation. It's great to wake up in the morning and be shouted out about how terrible things are, and then we'll all get in heavy traffic as people get to work because we have extraordinarily low unemployment. But what I'm seeking here, and what I hope we'll be able to have, is a real dialogue and a collaborative discussion with the business community. We created MCEDC so that business would be in the driver's seat. It's red light, I gotta go.
Mayor President?
Well, thank you. It's a great crowd. Pleasure to be here. I agree with Dr. Basu totally, although it was a very bleak way to start a bleak Friday morning. But as he said, this is truly not news. And in fact, one of the reasons I am running is because I knew it wasn't news. I know this is fading in and out, so I apologize. Maybe I'll go over here.
No peeking at my questions.
No peeking at So as I was saying, it truly isn't news. And I recognized that for a while because I actually started the Rockville Economic Development Corporation when I was the mayor of Rockville because I saw how important business was to our county in so many ways. Wednesday night, I attended the graduation of college tracks. Social and scientific systems was the key corporate benefactor of so many students trying to go on to college and then succeed in college. Yesterday morning, Interfaith Works. We were at the conference center. Who paid for that conference center? The corporate sponsors. So it's not just our tax base. It's really making this county a good place to live. I do have a vision for this county. I really want us to be a leader in research and development and known for creating jobs and providing opportunity for all. But government cannot do it alone. And I want to work with the business community. I want to highlight the strengths that we already have and figure out a way that we can once again become the known jurisdiction in the United States for creating great policies.
Thank you all.